I don't know how people sleep, people who have the power to do something and not doing anything sleep with themselves. I don't know how they get sleep at night knowing that this is a slow poison that has been infused upon us. And this is not Delhi, like Dr. Seth was saying, this is not winter. This is 60% of the country. Just imagine the impact it will have and the load of patients that the medical infrastructure will be facing in the coming generations as well. But, like I said, we could go on about it, but I want to talk solutions now, because if the government is not doing anything, what is it that we can do? Dr. Mittal, you guys have put together an excellent list. Could you take us through that, apart from the obvious ones that we know, which is wear an N95 or N99 mask, have air purification, HEPA filter 13 or above, have your purification done in the cars as well, because that's where maximum, vehicular pollution is coming in. People are stuck for 2 hours in a traffic and they don't even realize what that staying in the car is doing to them. Ensure that kids are not playing out. Even if the sun is glaring and you think, aaj to hawa saaf lag rahi hai, par hai nahi, or AQI is still saying 300.
So I think, Sonal, there are several aspects to this. You've listed out what people as individuals can do, but there's only this much they can do. I mean, how can you live in an environment totally controlled by air purifiers and the HEPA filters? I mean, that's not possible. And for large segments of the population, even talking about that seems a little, ironic. I mean, it's really not correct to talk about those solutions.
It's a privilege.
Yes, it is a privilege. We can talk about it, but most of our people cannot. So I think it's really important that there are, and everyone realizes, anyone with any sense realizes, there's no quick fix to this. We don't think anyone has a magic wand it'll just sort of wish away all the stuff we're talking about. But we need to have a structured plan. We need to have a structured plan that is evident to the public. We need to know what is happening now, this year, what is the change, next year, what will be the change, the year after that, what will be the change, so that over a period of a few years, we can implement major changes. Like Beijing did.
Yes,
like Beijing just was the worst city in the world and became completely clean. Of course, people say in China it's easier to implement things, but the fact is that we do need to go in that direction. We can't keep, passing it on to the next person all the time. So this has really become a big problem. And as Dr. Seth very rightly said, the issue of it being there around the year and an acceptance of levels which are clearly 2 or 3-fold higher than WHO recommendation. And in these times, there are 10, 20...
Can I ask you a question? And I've been trying to wrap this around my head as well. When doctors are saying, please do something, we are reporting and saying, please do something, doctors are getting desperate enough to say, leave the city if you have to. Why do you think the politicians have not woken up? They're not even recognizing it as a problem. They're allowing green crackers and the rest of it to happen. I'm sure you meet so many politicians who come to you. They are your patients. When you talk to them, what's the reply? What do they tell you?
No, I don't think it's that they don't realize. I mean, I really do think that they very well realize they're all living in this. It's not happening in some remote part of the country. I think our politicians or bureaucrats or whoever is in charge, they definitely realize the problems. I think there's need for a concerted, a coordinated response, which somewhere is not really happening, and a long-term response. The issue is not a short-term spraying of this or that. It's really a long-term response, a plan that we need to see to really help, because...
I have last 1 minute and I have Dr. Seth's finger going up. So very quickly, sir.
So I think the realization is there, and it's increasingly, and in fact, these are the sort of realizations, the sort of programs that you've been doing, the sort of letter that we've written, but there's a realization. I tell you, in the past, this actually has been a blame game politics. It's actually now coming to a realization where it does need to become a national agenda of every policymaker, of every politician, and for that matter, for every individual in this country, that kis tarah hum pollution ko kam kare. It should be the first thing which everybody should wake up with, and
Yes.
actually should be the last thing we say,
Yes.
Ab aaj kya ho sakta hai? Now, the policymakers can do better than that. We, in our own, can do daily something which can help. But the policymakers need to make an agenda as a national agenda saying, ye to hamari emergency situation hai.
But
Just
why
like
aren't
COVID,
they? I'm
just like COVID came in
really
and
trying to
create a
understand
policy
why
over
they
the
don't
next-
get something as simple as this.
I
You
think they
have
are.
the
So
Padma Awardees, you have the best doctors in the country, doctors who treat these politicians as well, telling them, please wake up. And still, well, we're debating 10 hours of Vande Mataram, we're debating 10 hours of some other bill, but there is 0 hour taken out for air pollution inside the parliament. And that, for me, is very, very troubling. And we really hope that the letters that all of you have written, at least that rings a bell, if nothing else. Thank you so much for doing what you guys are doing. And thank you so much for keeping the fight for demanding clean air going on. But we're not done with